him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sigh. All they wanna say, let him lay me traps and then to praise Jehovah me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sigh. All they wanna say, let him lay me traps and then to praise Jehovah me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody strip the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest, man. Shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. Spit, rising up to greater heights. As long as
Hello, bonjour, San Bonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Dr. Nompumelelo Riel Punene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on work-life balance. So here in Calgary, Alberta, we have Lindy Rook. And in Los Angeles, we have David De Almeida. In Melbourne, Australia, we're going to have Nichols. And in London, United Kingdom, we have Katrin Longhi.
Hi.
And in Germany, we have Anisha Muella. So at this moment, I will just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Lindy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm Lindy Rook. I am the CEO of Rock Solid Administration. We are a virtual assistant and online business management agency out of Calgary, Alberta. And we specialize in helping busy entrepreneurs and small businesses organize, promote, and scale their brand through administrative services and automation.
Amazing. It's so good to have you, Lindy. So you can go ahead, Brendan. I'm not too sure if you saw my message. You can go ahead and introduce yourself. Okay, if Brendan is not available, you can go ahead, David. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is David. I'm 44 years old. I live in Los Angeles. And when I'm not reading, learning about the mind, or coaching loved ones, I enjoy traveling with my family to new places, visiting my parents and family in France. I love eating vegetarian food, playing with my kids, being present in nature and all its beauty. I love coffee, chocolate, and most of all, I love spending time with my wife. And I came from a childhood where at a young age, I accepted people's opinion of me, especially my teachers, as real facts. Their opinions of me subconsciously dictated the negative results I had for the rest of my school years. And I spent almost 3 decades of my life trying to prove to myself and others my true worth. And in my adulthood, I studied the mind in search of true answers. And what I learned helped me break out of my mental prison. That's why I'm here speaking today.
Oh, wow. It's so good to have you. It's so good to have you, David. Oh, I didn't see you, Con, that you were here. Con, right now in Australia, in Melbourne, it's around 1 a.m. So he was like, you know what?
Wow.
I'm going to show up. And he did. He just showed up. So I applaud you. Con. So you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Look, firstly, thank you for the opportunity, and what an amazing bunch of groups you got there, all over the world. And I'm very, very privileged to share my story too. I'm a young boy that I arrived in a new country back in Australia back in 74 as an 11-and-a-half-year-old boy with no money, no language, nowhere to live, no food, nothing at all. Just one little suitcase full of dreams and goals. And at the age of 18, I purchased my first home. And my journey began from then on. Yes, I did fail year 10. Yes, I was abused. Yes, I was bullied. All those wonderful things that we can hear around. But one thing that actually I was focused on the bigger picture in life. And right now is that I can try to teach people how strong a mindset can be, not only on physically, emotionally, financially. Another example is, for example, 3.5, 4 years ago, I was literally an obese. I was 160 odd kilos. Within 3.5 years, I've lost almost 90 kilos. And it can be done. It can be done quite easily with no gyms, with no shakes or this and that. Virtually, it's up to yourselves and up to your mind that controls you. And I always say a lot of times, don't let your inner self control you. Your mind's going to control the whole body itself. And thank you for the opportunity of let me share my story.
Wow, thank you, Con. I'm looking forward to hear more of your speech. And yes, it can be done. It can be done. We're going to London. We have Katrin. Katrin, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katrin Longhi. I am American born, British naturalized, and married to a tall, dark, and handsome Italian man of my dreams. So we're kind of like the United Nations at home. My current location is Italy. We spend our time between London, Italy, and Florida, where my parents live. And this life that I've created for myself, which was not predictable, was born out of the transformational work that I did. Like all of us here, we've all been on our evolutionary journeys. We've all been confronted with tremendous adversity and went through a process to create the lives that we want to live today, which is why we're all excited to share that with you today. And I am the Chief Communication Officer at Jifu, the Global Institute for Evolving Women, which was created to empower women leaders to live their own best lives so that we can give permission for everyone in the world to live their best lives. And we do that through transformational education for women and helping them discover their purpose, passion, talents, aligning it with women of similar purpose, passion, talents so that they can become impact vehicles and make a difference in the world. So thank you for having me.
Oh wow! What a trailblazer! Really, really. I'm so honored that you said yes, Katrin, and I am looking forward to hear you speak. And I love the tall, dark, and handsome. Yes, I love. I love it. I'm looking forward to hear more of your story, anyways. So, Brandon, if you are ready, you can introduce yourself, my brother.
Sorry. It was my computer. Blame it on the computer, right? So. Man, I'm excited to be here. Appreciated the invite. My name is Brandon Abbey. My journey started, a long time ago. Like the gentleman said, bullied in school. I hated reading and writing. I failed the 3rd grade and the 5th grade because I hated reading and writing and getting in front of people. Right? I hated this type of thing and getting in front of people, and so I took a 0. Right? So I took a 0. And 7th grade, I made a change. I said I wanted to, my 6th grade teacher said, hey, you can do better. And I said that to myself. I catapulted my life after that, went into the United States. I dropped out of high school after 9th grade, ended up going back to school, pressing forward, finished school, went into the military, 8.5 years in the United States Air Force, 2 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, right? I had a massive career in the Air Force where I was in 27 months in the military. I went from basic training to the #1 E4 and below in the entire Japan. #1 in Japan, right? And I finished 2nd in the whole Pacific Air Forces. So I say that, and I just kind of kept on going. I came out the military. I went to Afghanistan, almost got blown up, right? But I'm here today, right? And so I just kept on going and pressing forward. Let me slide back just a tad bit. I met my wife. I was stationed in Japan. She was in Atlanta, right? So we met on MySpace, right? Met on MySpace. Never met each other physically. Went back after my tour in Iraq in 2007. We got married in 3 weeks. Was married for 13.5 years. 13 years before she passed away in October 2020. And so, kind of pressing forward with that about life. And today I'm a 6-time self-published author, publisher, and speaker, right? So you say mindset, how could you change that mindset? You know what I mean? Just continue to move forward, press forward. We go through things to get through things, but we never stay stuck. Neither one of us have been stuck our journey. We kept on moving. No matter how hard it was, the tunnel was always a light at the end of it. So that's why, like I said, I appreciate you guys for inviting me here today. You see the shirt, regroup, refocus, and reinvest, right? Regroup, refocus, and reinvest.
Wow. I love your shirt. I love your shirt, Brandon, and I can't wait to hear your speech. Really, you are such an inspiration. You are such an inspiration. Your resilience, really. So I'm looking forward to hear you speak. So we are flying. Inside Canada. I have a question for you, Lindy. I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down here in the busy highway in Calgary. What will your billboard say?
Oh, that's a good question. It would probably say something like, be show up in the world how you want to have other people act around you, I guess. Sorry, I'm terrible at these kind of things.
That's okay. Show up in the world the way you want people to see you, is it?
Yes, that's better.
Wow. I love it. I'm pretty sure it's coming, or maybe it's already here. I don't know. I haven't explored much, but I will find it one day. How about you, Brandon? I can see your billboard coming down there in the busy highway in Georgia. What will it say?
It's going to say, just believe, right? It's just going to say, just believe. Just keep on going. Just believe. As you're just driving, and that's going to hit you in your head, as you take that next mile, you just think like, wow, just believe. And it's going to make you contemplate on just believe. Just believe in everything you got going, every goal you have, every dedication that you placed in your heart to have.
Just believe. Wow. Just believe. So simple. I love it. How about you, David? I'm not too sure if your billboard is going to be in France or it's going to be in LA. What will your billboard say?
I love Brandon, actually, like billboard, just believe. Because I really like, that's why I believe like we don't get in life what we want, we get what we believe. And most of the time we get confused. We don't even know what we really believe, and I think it's very important for us to remember, what do I believe?
Yeah.
What do I believe? And I like that. I like believe, but my billboard will say, work towards your life's purpose.
Work towards your life purpose. How can you say that in French?
Work towards your life purpose. I didn't even thought about it in French. I just in English. That's how I feel it in my heart.
I love it. Work towards your life purpose. I love it.
I think life comes with a purpose. And it doesn't matter how difficult life can be for all of us. At the end, it's very important for us to understand life has a purpose. And if we understand that, we can start working towards it, which gives us something incredible, something special, something who makes us alive. That's what my billboard will say, work towards your life's purpose.
Work towards the life purpose. I love it. And I'm pretty sure it's coming out there. The world should be watching. How about you, Con, the small boy with just a suitcase traveling to Australia and who purchased a house at the age of 18? Wow, what an inspiration. What will your billboard say?
My billboard is going to be very simple with 8 words. I get better, not bitter from my failures.
I get better, not better. I love it. I love it. It's so simple and straightforward, but with a meaning. I love it. I love it.
Because people, unfortunately, when they fall into the dark spot or the dark place or somewhere we don't want to be, they get very distressed, very depressed. And of course, we all know what happened the last 2.5 years with this circus called COVID. So, I think we got to take control of ourselves. So don't get bitter, get better.
Wow. I love it. And Australia should be on the watch, really. It's coming, I believe. It's really, really coming. How about you, Katrin? Oh my God, you're just all over the place. You've mentioned London, you've mentioned Italy, you've mentioned Florida. So I'm confused where your billboard will be, really. What will your billboard say?
Maybe it will be a space station that you can see from everywhere.
That's right.
But it will have a picture of the Dalai Lama on it and his quote that says, "The world will be saved by the Western woman." And I would just add, "and the men who support them." And that the billboard will be a rallying call for everyone on the planet that, we're all here for greater things. We're all here to make a difference and a contribution, and a little bit of time and attention towards the feminine space, so that the feminine and the masculine can really rise together, is going to make a real difference.
Wow. Wow. I love it, because you know what? We need each other and we rise together to greater heights. I love it. I love it. So I think mine will be like the 7th billboard driving down the highway. It's going to say rise to greater heights, because you know what? The sky is no longer the limit. The sky is our point of view. So we need to rise to greater heights, and it's coming. It's coming. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started with Lindy Rook. Lindy Rook has used her 20 years of executive assistance experience to create rock solid administration. She works with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and big corporations to streamline their administrative staff. Lindy wants clients doing the work that best suits their strengths and hiring virtual assistants to do the work that doesn't. Her priority is to help clients set and achieve their business goals. Lindy will always hold clients accountable to the standards they set. She is happy when she can help achieve targets and make a business more successful by taking some of the weight off her clients' shoulders. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Lindy Rook.
Thank you. I started Rock Solid Administration in 2015. It actually kind of came about because I got laid off. It was one of those times where the downturn in the economy caused my job to be one of those ones that they were like, well, we can't really keep you. So I left my job, and at the same time was going through a divorce with 2 little kids. And I was freaking out because my husband at the time had been the majority breadwinner in the family. So I had to figure out what to do. And I had already been working part-time online for a friend of mine. And she was just like, why don't you just start telling people that this is what you do? And I was like, wait, what am I doing? So she said, well, from what I understand, you help businesses grow, and you help people who are entrepreneurs to take some of the stuff off their plates so that they don't have to do everything. So I kind of like Googled that and was like, I don't even know what this is called. And I found out that there's this thing called a virtual assistant. So I started putting it out into the world that I was now doing that. And within about 6 months, it got to be such a heavy workload, and my life was totally not balanced. I was working 16 to 18 hours a day with 2 kids, trying to balance out spending time with them and getting them to and from appointments, and making sure that they were still feeling loved, and going through a divorce, and helping my ex move, and all of the financial stuff that came with that, working so much that I literally was glued to my computer, and I felt terrible for my poor children. So I actually started to look to ask other people I knew if maybe they wanted to take some of the work off my plate. So I hired my first contractor in 2016, in the beginning of 2016. And from there, I've now grown to 12 contractors on my team. And we help businesses all over the place to actually create work-life balance in their lives. A lot of entrepreneurs start their businesses thinking that, you know, they're doing what they love and it's so great. And then they realize all the back end stuff that they're like, wait a second, I forgot that I had to invoice people, and then I'd have to answer 42 emails asking the same question, and that I would have to, you know, build a CRM to make sure that I'm getting back to people in an amount of time, and do contracts and do all this. I just wanted to get into this to do what I love. So we kind of come in and we set a lot of boundaries even on our own to help them and take a lot of that stuff off of their plate. So in my own life, how I've created a lot of work-life balance is I now have a separate space for my work. I think that that's super important, especially when you work from home, is to have, in my other house before I moved into this one with my new partner, I had a closet that I literally had put a desk in so that I could just close the doors eventually when I finally realized that I was way overworking myself, so that I could close the doors on the work so that it wasn't in my face all the time. I think working from home, it gets really easy to just sit down and do it and, you know, pound out that last email. Oh, it's no big deal. It's 10 o'clock at night, but I'll just shoot it quick. I'm here. Like, why not? So having a separate space that you can close the door to, or that you can walk away from, I think it's a really important balance in your life. I also want to stipulate that work-life balance is really however you feel good about it. It's never going to be 50-50 or 80-20 or whatever. Work-life balance is definitely what you feel good about. So then the other thing that I do a lot of is I actually like time block my day out. So I book time in my day for myself. I don't take meetings before 10 o'clock in the morning because I don't like to usually. So my mornings for me are like, get up, work out, you know, sit down, go through my emails, organize my day, and then I'll take a meeting. So also I book an hour a day to take my dog out for a walk during the day, because it's really important for me to get out into nature and to be, and for my dog to go for a walk. But also it's just something to get me away from my desk, because otherwise, again, because I'm at home and there's nobody walking into my office interrupting me in the day to be like, hey, we should go for lunch. I can just sit at my desk for hours and hours and not have any balance there. So I think that those are the biggest things that are really, really important to me. And then, like I said, the boundary part, I have 0 notifications on my phone ever. If the only thing that notifies me is if somebody texts me, but none of my apps, none of my emails notify me on my phone. So if I'm not on my computer, or I don't physically go into that app to see, I don't know that anybody's emailed me, or I don't know that anybody's Slacked me, or I don't know that anybody's messaged me on Facebook unless I physically go into it. And that was for me something that I only set up in the last couple years, because I was just having pinging all the time on my phone, and it was getting distracting with my kids. And with my partner and his kids. And I wanted to be really present for them. So I made sure that now I have zero notifications on my phone. So if I'm not at my computer, people text me if they need me, and not clients, only the people that are on my team. But generally, yeah, I think that that's kind of how I've worked out my work-life balance, is setting in boundaries and, setting up my day to make sure that I'm taking the time for me.
Oh, wow, Lindy, just drop the mic. Honestly, you've just nailed it. Like your work-life balance. You've mentioned that you'll have to set boundaries, more especially like you've said that you have zero notifications on your phone. I can just imagine myself with all the notifications on my phone. So I'm like, okay, I'm learning something new from you today. Until I am on the computer, that's where I get all the notifications. Wow. And you've balanced your life between family and yourself and your me time too. I believe that with your me time, really, you'll have to be selfish at some point, because no one If you don't set it up for yourself, no one will ever be able to set it for you. So be selfish with your me time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lindy, for sharing such a profound message. So now we are going to the state of Georgia. We have Brendan Abbey. Brendan Abbey is an author, publisher, speaker, and an entrepreneur who values dedication, service, as well as excellence. As a decorated combat veteran, Brendan brings unique perspectives gained from his battlefield experiences to any organization, with a focus on empowering others to unleash the untapped potential within themselves. Using real-world examples, Brendan sheds light on how the invaluable talent each person brings to the world can positively impact any mission. After failing the 3rd grade and the 5th grade, at the age of 17, he dropped out of high school on a quest to find himself. Upon returning to HS and graduating, he enlisted the US Air Force, where he completed meritorious service tours in Japan, Iraq, England, Ecuador, as well as Afghanistan. After separating the service, he took the advice of his therapist and utilized his traumas to author several books and co-launched a self-publishing company with his spouse. After the passing of his wife in 2020, he recentered himself to chase his purpose and vowed to teach others how to regroup, refocus, and reinvest their greatness. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Brendan Abbey.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing today? Well, let me hop right in, right? So, you know, we have to stay dedicated. One of the things we have to stay dedicated to is ourselves, right? We have to stay dedicated to ourselves. You know, it goes back, I think it was back in 2014. I said, what do I want to do now? Because I was projected to go to hit the highest rank in the military. And I said, okay, now that that's done, what do I would like to do? So in 2015, I seen my wife, she was writing on a book, whatever, about to go to New York. And, you know, that was interesting to me. And I said, okay, my therapist said, you should write on a book. I mean, you should write in your journal. I said, okay, let me check that out. So I started jotting it down a little bit. And she was talking about a title, and the title to my first book popped in my head, right? And I said, okay, that story kind of resonated. I'd never written before. I never liked writing. It was never in my, when somebody say your dreams or your aspirations, never, right? Never wanted to do that. That was, a business guy. I had just started my MBA, or I was about to start my MBA, just finished that, my associates up at the time. And so I said, man, I want to, if she can do it, I can do it. I see how it transformed her. So on the way to New York, on bald tires, no insurance and no registration, I started writing my first book, right? Today I have 6 of them. And, my wife only had 4 books at the time. Before she passed, she had 17 books. We only got 1 book together because I asked her to write on Madam by Night, Secretary by Day with me. That's dedication, staying dedicated to where you want to go, right? And so when I said, hey, I'm going to start this MBA program, at first I would see all these people on LinkedIn and I said, okay, that's going to help me. I got military experience, with an MBA, I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to in life, right? I'm going to be able to go out there and get it, and I said, no matter how many times I wanted to quit, in between, I said, I want that MBA on the back of my name. I'm going to be dedicated to that. And so going through the process, young lady spoke about marriage, and I was right on the brink of divorce myself. Right, me and my wife was together for 3.5 years. And then we separated for 3.5 years, and we got back together, right, for the last 6 years. And so being dedicated to who you would like to be, right? We all have a talent. Like we go through things to get through things, but we never stay stuck, right? I just finished this book called Man's Search for Meaning. And it says in the book, it says the existence of suffering. We all go through suffering in life to make us who we are. It makes us better, right? It sucks when it goes through the storm, but after the storm, it's like, man, I went through that. You know, so when I think about 18 months ago, when I was a CPR instructor in the military. So I did CPR on my wife as she was passing away, right? And some may ask, how am I at the point I am today? You know, it's a horrific story. Well, how am I at the point? Because I didn't want to stop. I got 2 kids. I wanted to continue to show them that you can bounce back from anything in life and you can be anything you want to be and stay dedicated to it.
Brandon, oh my goodness. By the way, I love your shirt. I love your shirt. I love it. It says regroup,
refocus, invest.
Regroup, refocus, reinvest. Reinvest your greatness, regroup your greatness, refocus your greatness. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing such a profound message. And my heart really, it goes out to you for your loss. My heart is reaching out to you for your loss. And I believe that right now you are just here serving your purpose, and the world needs you. The world needs to hear your message, because we need to make a difference in this world that we live in. We are only here to fulfill our purpose. So thank you so much, my brother, for sharing your profound message. Thank you. So now we are going to LA. We have David de Amelia. David de Amelia. In 2005, David officially moved to Los Angeles from France, where he was born and spent 26 years of his life. This was his first airplane trip at the age of 26 from Paris to LA, with a stopover in Chicago without speaking any English. Wow, it was a 26-hour trip to follow a girl he fell in love with after spending 3 hours with her near the river Seine while she was on vacation in July 2004. So without any formal education and no notion of English, he took ESL classes while expecting his firstborn. So David couldn't contain his joy, and he promised his wife to take care of them both without a single clue how. David discovered a new passion by providing his high standard quality of service to elites by learning and understanding their needs and exceeding them. Then on Valentine's Day 2012, David injured himself at work when moving restaurant furniture around. All his live stream came to a stop. He never felt the same and wasn't able to return to his job as a servant. As time passed, David still couldn't understand why that accident had to happen to him. And he was so committed to find the real answers for himself. Why was a permanent question in David's mind until the birth of his second daughter, Zoe. 10 years have passed now since his injury, but David has now found new passions, day trading, and understanding of the mind and human psychology. This passion wasn't complete without David finding his purpose, and he now takes his opportunity to share with the world. David lives in Los Angeles and speaks French, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. Wow. And he has been happily married for 16 years to Patricia, the love of his life. He's the proud father of 2 beautiful souls, Chloe, 14, and Zoe, 5. David is now committed to the fulfillment of his purpose as a goal achievement coach for all, coaching people how to create the life they truly desire by sharing his knowledge and providing them the right tools. His biggest success is the success of others. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome David, dear Amelia.
Hi, all right. Then I'm going to talk to an alternative way of viewing life-work balance, which defines work really, it means to me, how it means to me and to us. Like we all have a job to pay bills, but let's not confuse job with work. Understanding the gift of life and our responsibility towards it will make our work easier and our life more balanced, in my opinion. Then let's start with by showing case the miracle of life. Scientists have concluded that the odds of you being born at least 1 in 4 trillion, which make it like the fact that you were born today means you have made it through the biggest adversity battle you will ever face in life. Let's not think for a moment. Having said that, people need to realize that winning is part of our DNA. And as the gift of life was given to us, life though always comes with a purpose. What do I mean by purpose? Purpose is when you understand what we were born to accomplish. That's when work really starts. I'm gonna quote Dr. Miles Monroe, who said, your job is what they pay to do, and your work is what you were born to do. And I will speak with my heart. I never knew in my life what I was supposed to do. I never, because like, as I was saying at the beginning when I introduced myself, I really believed what people opinions of me, especially when I was at school at the young age. Then I accepted it as fact, the way their opinion of me, I accepted it as fact. Then I let it sink into my subconscious mind, which I didn't know at the time, and dictated the way I would see myself. And after that, I spent like 30 years of my life trying to find out what was wrong, trying to prove to others I was worth something. And through adversity, yeah, I made it to a certain level, but I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy because it wasn't enough. And when I enjoyed myself, something clicked. I was like, what is the purpose of me doing all of that, moving from France to Los Angeles? That's great. I mean, I'm married, I have kids, but must be more than that. That's not it. Something must be more than that. Then I was committed to find like answers, real answers. And the answers, I got them. I didn't know about the subconscious mind. I didn't know how it affected our daily routine, our action, our behavior. I didn't know that. I was just pushing it. You know, it doesn't matter what happened to me. I can make it, but I didn't know how strong the subconscious mind was. 1,000,000 times more stronger than new conscious mind. I didn't know that. I mean, we leave us with 5% of our conscious mind actually to change the thing. And how do I change the thing? By controlling the only 2 things I can control, which is my thoughts and my attitude. It doesn't matter what happened to you in your life. What matters is what you think. Am I thinking positively? Can I make it through it? I think it's very important because it changed my life. That's why it allowed me to go through all the stuff I had to go through. And when I understood that, I say, okay, David, but you still don't know what you're going to do. What do you want to do? And little by little, things starting to be more clear. And suddenly I understood. I want to help people understand that. Because that's when life comes with purpose. Life comes with purpose. And when we understand our purpose, we start working towards it. And in one way or another, it gives us balance because it feels good. It feels aligned with us. We align with our true identity, what we're supposed to do. Oh, I'm feeling that, but I shouldn't, because people, that's what they think of me. We cannot never outperform our self-image. And it doesn't matter the trauma we had in the past, those trauma, if we don't understand how those traumas are affecting our daily activity, actions, and behavior, we cannot change it. That's it. This is life. I mean, I work 65 years old, I'm retired, and hopefully I will die at 80 years old. This is not life. Life is to find out, okay, all that happened to me, but I mean, I'm not special. Everybody has problems. How do I come out of it? What is the message? Oh, the message is, guess what? Now I'm going to talk with other people. They're still at the same spot than I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You know, when a kid goes to school, he doesn't need a teacher to limit him, saying like, oh, I mean, you will never make it. Einstein's mom asked the teacher, what should I do with Albert? He said, it doesn't really matter. He will never be anyone. Thanks God he didn't believe it. He didn't believe it. That's what, I mean, he didn't believe it. And I think it's very important. And that's how I think is the key that will bring us in our morning and automatically a life balance. Is to understand we all have a life purpose and start working towards it. Understand our mind, understand how we can change it and how we can become a better version of ourselves and bring the message to others, because they need our message. They really do. They really do. And this is my definition of life work purpose, is to align myself with the person I'm truly supposed to become.
Wow, David, you've mentioned that the understanding of life as a gift and our responsibility towards it, it provides us with the discernment between what we're paid to do and what we are born to do. And like you've really nailed it on how really you try to define your vision of work-life balance. Thank you so much, David, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. I am seeing our audience online really, they've been really moved. Mariah is saying that what a topic, work-life balance. And Morali is saying this is good. Stella is saying that understanding the subconscious mind is key. And our audience, thank you, Pumi, for joining us. She's saying she's watching from Swaziland, Adaku in Nigeria, and Morali in India, Aliyew in London, Stella in Swaziland. Thank you so much to our amazing audience for joining us today here at Rise to Greater Heights Network. If you haven't shared this video, please, you know what, please do so, because you may never know how many souls you're gonna be able to save with just one click, with just one share. So please do share this video to all of your networks. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel on YouTube, Rise to Greater Heights Network, please go there and subscribe, because you're not gonna miss any, if I'm saying any of our lives, any of our videos being posted. There are many videos being posted in there that are life-changing, that can change one soul at a time. So go out there and subscribe to our channel. And thank you, David, for sharing such a much needed message. So now we are going to Melbourne, Australia. Wow, I believe right now it's going to 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. But Con Nichols, he decided, he was like, no, I'm going to show up. I just need this world to hear my message. I just want to change just one soul at a time with my voice. And he's just going to do that for our audience. So Con Nichols is an entrepreneur, author, philanthropist, property developer, investor, business owner, and a self-made millionaire. He arrived in Australia as an 11-and-a-half-year-old boy with just one suitcase full of dreams. And at the age of 18, he purchased his first home. And then he began life's journey with all its challenges to succeed today. Now, the nation's #1 New Australian mentor and a business strategist, former chairman of Oceania's Business Forum, and an elected member by the World Council. Having one of his programs endorsed by the United Nations and European Chambers of Commerce, he's a leader called upon by leaders to inspire and motivate the masses with his authentic approach and storytelling. His amazing and inspiring life story, how he lost 88 kilos, which is 104 pounds, changing his mindset will motivate all. He is a founder and a partner in more than 10 companies or businesses in various industries, ranging from property development, cafes, education, import-export, and events, real estate investment. Con Nichols is the real deal, and he goes beyond limits. Con is saying all the pain that you are willing to endure is measured by how bad you really want it. Business is like a marathon, so you need to, it's like a marathon, you need to last the distance. Con Nichols. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Con Nichols.
Thank you very much once again. And life, it is like a marathon, business like a marathon. And by the way, I've done 9 marathons, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of sweat to finish those marathons. But I'm going to start out with a quote that actually I hear very often the last few years. Everyone thinks they can change the world. Everybody, we want to change the world. We want to do things, we want to change the world. But no one thinks of changing himself. And to me, the beginning, I had to change who I was so I can create the new me and refocus on a bigger goal. Because I always say to the young, a lot of my young students, the biggest part in life is not when you're 16 or 17 or 20. The biggest part in life is when you're much older and you've got choices in life. My life was very, very hard and very tough in my early days. Mom and dad were not very well off. We struggled not only with, to get by, but also even our everyday necessities. And there are a lot of things actually stuck in my mind that I suppose they gave me more endurance to build my better character who I am now. And I won't forget the day that actually I was about 14 years old and my mates came to my house to take me to go see the movies. And I was so embarrassed to go with them because my shoes had this massive big hole. And I felt embarrassed because obviously it was raining that day. And I felt so uncomfortable, but at the same token, I didn't want to embarrass my friends and also embarrass myself as well. So quickly I went to the kitchen and then I got a plastic bag and I got a sock, another plastic bag, and then another sock, and I put my shoe on so I can keep my feet dry. And each time I was walking through the road, the wet road, I had to drag my foot in because I didn't want my friends to know that I had a hole in my shoe. In a way, that taught me one thing, that you got to be very humble in life. It doesn't matter where you come from, is the end result that counts. As a young boy, yes, I did it hard. I failed year 10 or Form 4 at high school, obviously because my English was a second language and I had no idea what's happening. A lot of times during lunchtime, I was really kicked and bashed by the older kids because I was a new kid on the block with no English and so on. So things were tough. But in a way, it motivated me and it made me more stronger internally. It gave me the spirit of fire that I wanted to succeed in life and be someone that others could not do. Yes, I washed dishes. Yes, I washed toilets. Yes, I did all the wonderful things that everybody, young kid those days, didn't want to do. Yes, when it was a sunny day, all my friends were swimming at the beach. I left early because I need to go and work at my job much earlier. However, at the age of 18, I had enough money in my kitty, in my bank, to go out there and buy a property as my first property. And everything began from there. And of course, I will not forget the day that I got the keys from my house as a 19-year-old kid. And I took my mom and dad for a drive. And we went about 20 minutes where we lived before, this beautiful tree-lined street. And there was a California bungalow, the house that I bought, beautiful rows of gardens. And being real estate, of course, mom and dad thought I was taken to show them one of my properties that I was selling. I said, Mom and Dad, come on, let me show you this house. So we walked through, you know, Mom was smelling the roses towards the front door. We walked in, very big entry and so on. And Mom said, oh, well, you know, this is, how much are you selling this house? I said, Mom, just have a look at it. Let me see what you think. Anyway, to cut the long story short, after a few minutes, I could not resist my tears in my eyes. So I said, Mom and Dad, by the way, this is not for sale. This is the house that I bought. And I will not forget, and rest his soul, my late father, dropped down on the floor as a grown man, full of tears and crying and praying to God. And Mom was giving me a massive hug. And those memories made me stronger, motivated me for better and bigger things. And my life continued from then onwards. Look, it wasn't all rosy. We all got failures in life. And that's why I said that quote before in the billboard. I get better, not bitter from my failures. Because if I was getting bitter, I would have been very negative. I would have been focused on the things that were not very energetic who I was. Because I'm a very energetic person. And I'll be always very positive in my life, whatever I've done. And from then on, I graduated, I went to college and got my real estate certificates and all that. And I started in real estate from a very young age. Many years later, I got married, and I got married almost 21 years ago. And the first 7-8 years of our lives with my wife, we literally galvanized the whole world. My wife being a school teacher, every school holidays, we travel whatever place in earth you can think of, we've been there. And after 6-7 years, we decided to have a family. And I thought, you know, having family is going to be easy. You walk in the supermarket, getting a couple of kids, it will be that easy. Unfortunately, it wasn't that easy. And we tried and tried and tried and tried, and nothing happened. So we decided to go the pathway and the most brutal way of the IVF way. It's not a very nice thing to do, because you can see your wife going through this massive trauma, and everybody does not know IVF. It's all about injections back and forward, and so it's very brutal. And of course, you know, we tried once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. Yes, it happened. Yes, it happened. And then miscarriage. You can understand now, going through this journey of failures, and you have to keep a smiley face, because obviously you want to show your wife everything's fine, not to worry, I'm here with you, I'm going to support you all the way, don't worry, next time. And of course, I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because my only outlet was food. So at one stage, I gained almost very close to about 165 kilos. Yes, I was obese. And the funny part is, and this is what people do not realize, that in my eyes, the way I was looking at myself in the mirror, I never thought I was fat. I never thought I was big. I thought it was okay, you'd be chubby, but it's okay, no problems. And of course, when my wife had the miscarriage, we decided to give it all up and find out what can we do to begin our next stage of our life. So we decided to go one of the Greek islands in Naxos during school holidays in September here in Australia as well. And yes, we party hard. Yes, we drank. Yes, we went out. And yes, we discovered things. But we went down there with no stress, no expectations, nothing to worry about. And yes, my fellow friends, brothers and sisters, miracles do happen. And I say this in a nice way because today, being Greek Easter in Melbourne or in the world, because Greek Orthodox, pray to God. And, you know, I'm so thankful and so blessed that going down there and coming back to Australia, we came back with beautiful twin girls. Now, once again, the twins were born, everything was fine, no problems at all. And, you know, as I say to a lot of people that, you know, I did not realize that I was that big. And when I say that big, this is one of the photos to see how big I was. Yes, it's quite big. And people don't realize that till about 3 years later, it was that Monday morning, 7:22 a.m. I walked past my bathroom mirror and I saw this guy that I did not recognize. Yes, it was brutal. Yes, I cried. I smashed the mirror, blood all over the place. But my fellow friends, on that day, on that moment, I was blessed by God that He showed me I need to change right there, right now. And very slowly, I started taking control of myself, my old self, slowly, day by day. Because let's face it, indirectly, I was committing suicide with food. I was going to die. I will not be around 4 or 5 years later, right now, telling you guys a story. And slowly, every day, I started changing my mindset back to the old con, to trying to retrain the old habits and doing the very, very basic things, you know, your morning rituals, your morning things that you had forgotten, your meditation, your gratitude, and all those wonderful things. We all know what's going on. And slowly, 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 the weight came off. It is so easy to go back to your old habits if you don't have the proper mindset. There's nothing quick fix for anything. Doesn't matter if you want to lose weight, doesn't matter if you want to make money, doesn't matter if you want to find a husband or a boyfriend or a wife. There's no quick way. Unfortunately, in 2022, we live in this fast world and we want things to die. We want things to be right now. I want to be rich now. I want to be successful now. I want to have lose weight now. I want to be fit now. I want to find a wife now, right now, not tomorrow, not in 4 years or 2 years, like you may say, right now. And this is where the problem is. We don't have the patience because we've been trying ourselves to focus on the better things in life. And now I left this new, with my old ways. Now I've gone out this beautiful pathway. Yes, I do have a lot of business. Yes, I'm successful at what I do. But my mission now is that to educate, especially younger people, to tell them about my journey as a young boy that came to Australia literally with one little suitcase, full of dreams, full of goals, and nothing else. And don't worry about the influence of your friends. Don't worry about the influence of what will people say, because that's the biggest stigma a lot of people are doing. If I do this, what will people say? Live your life on your own terms. Don't live your life for them. At the end of the day, they don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn if you're going to die tomorrow, you're going to be poor tomorrow, you're going to be homeless tomorrow. They don't give a damn about you. It's all about ourselves. It's all about ourselves. And I think Brenda said it. I think that people think that now I'm selfish. Well, I'm not selfish. I'm looking after me. Because if I don't look after me, I can't help others. And we all know that. And then now, I gotta say, I'm very blessed from many, many ways, and especially like giving the opportunity from Uriel that to be able to share my story globally, and it means a lot to me. And I hope even if we change one person, that's good enough. I think God is putting us in this earth for the good things, not for the bad things. On that note, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness, Con, you have no idea what an inspiration you are. Like when going over your pictures, like when you're showing us the pictures, I'm like, really? It takes a different kind of mindset to lose weight the way you've lost it and to maintain it. You've also mentioned, oh my goodness, when you were telling us your story of trying to conceive, you've tried once, twice, not even once, not even twice. You know, our mindset feels like if you try it for the third time, no, there is no other way. I'm just giving up. The situation, it is just the way it is, and it will never, ever change, no matter how much I keep on trying. But you never gave up 11 times. And that moment when you thought like, yes, we are having a baby, a miscarriage happened. But you know what? You never gave up. You never gave up. And like you've mentioned, that miracles still do happen even today. They do happen. You came back with twins. Wow, wow. Your life is really, really an inspiration. And thank you so much, Con. Like to lose your sleep just to be here, it means the world to me. You've lost your sleep.
To me, it's a privilege to be here. And if I've also posted on the chat, chat down there, yeah. I've got a link on my YouTube channel with my story, and please look at the progression of the lost weight and what actually happens, because weight loss is only one example. Use that for your own personal lives, your own personal journeys. And like you said before, do not give up. I mean, we know so many stories, you know. The light globe was invented on 1,001 time, you know, 998 times, 1,000 times he failed, you know. I mean, how many entrepreneurs out there, they fail, but they keep going, you know. I mean, we know the last probably couple of years we've got, you know, the all this space new age that's gone up there in the moon and so on, and all these rockets were failing it, but now they're building something unique, something different for the future, for your kids and kids sort of thing. So I'm a strong believer that we got to leave our mark in this world. And the way we got to leave our mark, even like Brendan's writing a lot of books, you know, and I mean, that's his mark, you know. I mean, Kathleen has got a beautiful story. Like I said, she's the United Nations, so she's got more leverage to a lot of people to encourage and motivate, like David, you know, a Frenchman like myself, in a sense that we are both migrants, that we literally went to a new country, not even to know, hello, how are you, what are you doing? We knew yes or no, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. Right now, we have the resources to do whatever we want. Even in my business point of view, I keep telling people, this is the best time if you want to succeed and make money. This is your opportunity right now. Grab it, go for it. Don't wait for tomorrow. You know, I want to do something. Well, you know what? Today is Friday. You know what? I'm going to wait till Monday because Monday was everything begin. Bug that out. Today is the time. You know what? I didn't want to wait till lose weight till the day after. I saw the guy in the mirror and I started doing these bloody push-ups and bloody bends right there and there because I had to start shifting from then on. I didn't want to wait. Well, you know what? I had no time to wait. And you got to make sure in everything you do, you got to put your time clock. There's nothing. Time clicks every single second. And as soon as it clicks, we lost it. So let's utilize our seconds before we lose any more. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit passionate because, you know, being in a very, very dark place and coming out, and now I look at other people on the dark place and I'm trying to grab him by the scruff of the neck, say, guys, wake up. It's not the end of the world. This is the beginning of the world only if you believe in yourself. This is your war. It's not the other's war. If you want to fight for it, it's up to you. Don't sit back and wait for everybody else to do your work. You know, guy out there, you know what I mean? I mean, look, I run business, you know, like I said, one of my business also have cafes. And sometimes I go there for a cup of coffee. And if I see something's going to be done, you know what? Go do it. The staff love it. You know what? Because you know how good it is to see a director getting down there and washing some dishes. You know what motivation is there to the staff? Because you're part of the team. Sorry, guys, that's my take. I better shut up.
Come on now, Con. Oh my goodness, I'm like, just preach on. We need to hear this. You know, it's a wake up call. Really, it's a wake up call for everyone. No more time to rest. Sleep is not even for the rich, because the rich doesn't even sleep like 6 hours. They're always out there hustling. So what's your excuse? It's a wake up call. Get up and get going. Go confident in the direction of your dreams. So, Con,
yeah. We know a lady called Oprah, and she said, everybody in this world got 24 hours in a day. You can decide to sleep 18 hours or 20 hours or 7 or whatever you do. However, I mean, especially in America, if you're going to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning on one side, it's already 3 hours behind the other side. So you already missed the whole bloody 3 hours of working, of business doing, you know what I mean? So, you know, don't get me wrong, sleep is good as well because you need the rest as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to become, you know, paranoid with it, but there's always a balance in life.
Yeah. Wow. No, thank you so much, Con. We just need the whole day.
Thank you.
We need the whole day to get this motivation from you, really. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now we're gonna go to Katrin Longhi. Katrin Longhi, Katrin is an evolutionary entrepreneur, former diversity and inclusion consultant, and the chief communications officer at GIFEW, which is the Global Institute for Evolving Women. She is a stand for feminine leadership in the world, and her purpose is to lead and heal the feminine. Katrin is the voice of the Constellation of Evolving Women, and she coaches women using their talents, passion, and purpose to create, grow, and lead sustainable social enterprises. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Katrin Longhi.
Thank you. So, wow, this has been an incredible journey so far. So I just wanted to do a quick recap so I can even just calibrate what I'm going to share with you to really add maximum value. So at the beginning, I loved, Lindy gave us so many practical tips and tools, many of which I champion myself, like, yes, don't have alerts on your phone. Yes, have a room with the door on it, two of my favorite ones. And Brandon, I loved what you shared about being dedicated and focused and committed and helping people to reset and reinvigorate and reinvest their lives. And David, the man of purpose, really got me present to my own purpose and why I'm here, and how having purpose gives you a direction, gives you a focus, helps you navigate. It's like your compass, right? And Con, I feel like I have been with your wife in those 11, oh my God, I was really living every aspect real time of your entire life's journey and resonated so many points of it with my own, even if different circumstances. But, you know, the human, haven't we all as humans gone through a lot of crap and adversity in our lives to get where we are? So thank you all. So I think I'm here to really bring the feminine to the conversation. What I can feel so far is we've gotten, some great tools, some great tips, a reminder about, just keep moving forward. When adversity comes, don't sit back, relax, but just keep moving forward. And my invitation is to keep moving forward in an evolutionary way. So I'm going to bring a bit of the soul, like to put work-life balance into context, and to actually just start with reframing work-life balance. Like, what does it actually mean? So why did we even come up with this expression, work-life balance? The first time I heard it, so growing up in America, I never heard that language used. But when I arrived in the United Kingdom in the early noughties and heard it first in the workplace, I thought, oh, work-life balance, this is a thing, like we're talking about it. And it mostly it was mostly used, I was working for Bloomberg Financial Markets at the time, and I mostly heard that term used particularly in the area of women and like working moms finding work-life balance. So my first context was like, oh, this is like a woman's issue, this work-life balance thing. And I, as an HR director, I could hear from women in the workplace, really struggling, like having young children at home. And when they're in work, they're feeling like, they're bad moms. And then when they're with their kids, they can't really be present with their kids, and that they're bad workers. And so my first context was like, okay, this is something women are like really struggling with and like can't get their heads around. And then later I started hearing a similar concept, but not in the frame of work-life balance. I also heard men complaining about things in their life that weren't working, but it was more from the context like, I'm working really hard. And there was also like a kind of acceptance, like, oh, there he is, he's working hard. He's working hard for his family. He's like working hard to put food on the table. Like he's working hard, and a little bit more like maybe that's okay. But I could still hear like men were suffering too. They were suffering in their relationships, like never seeing their families, being workaholics, and and sadly like relationships and marriages and things breaking down. So I know this is something that all humans are faced with and all humans are struggling with. And I want to reinvent this concept, work-life balance. So if you get underneath it, so when you feel like you don't have it, right? Like when you get underneath it all, what is it that you truly want in your life? Now, there might be things, I'd like a house, I'd like a partner, I'd like children. There may be like things that you want in your life, but underneath that, go another layer deeper. Like, what's that really about? Is it about love? Is it about connection? Is it about finding peace? Is it about harmony? Because I promise you, it's probably not about balance. Like, think about it for a second. Balance, like a scale. Like when you're trying to balance something on a scale, you're like trying to find your equilibrium between 2 points. And guess what? If you manage to find it, then what? You're not really moving, are you? That's just kind of like another version of stuck. So actually, if you're trying for balance, first of all, that's really, 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 really hard. Second of all, what happens if you actually get there? So I'm going to invite you to a different kind of frame, which is, how about work-life integration? Like, how about not having two separate things or two separate spheres? What about just having one beautiful life and looking at that life, like, what's really important to me? It's important to me to have connected relationships. It's important to me to do work that I love. It's important for me to make a difference in the world. Like, what's truly, truly, truly important for me? And this inquiry may lead you to what I'm going to call the soul dimension. So not to get airy-fairy here for a moment, but just a moment. So really simply in life, when we're struggling, when we're up against adversity, a lot of the times we're dealing with the ego's challenges, the ego's struggle, those fears, which are only ever one of three things. I don't have enough. I'm not loved enough. I'm not good enough. So lots of us spend our entire lives just trying to get those three needs handled, our whole lives. And this is not a fun place. This is not a fun place to be. The soul, the other dimension. This is the like, there's something more to life than just this, you know. I'm here for something more than this. The exciting stuff, the juicy stuff, the unknown stuff. This is the realm of soul. And the soul has desires. The soul desires to be expressed. It desires to connect with other souls. It desires to make impact and lead a legacy. So in summary, my final invitation. So part one is to think of a reframe for work-life balance. Like, what if I already had work-life balance? Hey, I'm already balanced. So now what's important to me in life? What's truly, truly important? And look at making that happen. And second of all, tune into soul. Like, what do you really, really, really feel called for? In those quiet moments, maybe you have a meditative practice, maybe it's a walk by a lake or a walk in a forest, but in those quiet moments when you just get a little sense of stillness, you know, what is soul called for? Why am I here? Who does my soul desire to connect with? What's the difference I'm called here to make? And you know what? It is about balance, actually. The ego soul balance. Keeping that ego, because that ego doesn't go away. It never goes away. That little voice will keep rattling away. But just finding that balance, that the ego and the soul are in harmony. The ego learns that it's trained to serve the soul's desires. So ladies who are here and men who support the ladies who are here, I have an invitation for you on Sunday. If you would like to be inside of a 1-hour conversation with other evolutionary women from around the world about finding peace in yourself and peace and power inside of your relationships, myself and some other evolutionary women are going to jump on a Zoom together for 1 hour at 5 p.m. London time, 12 p.m. New York time. That is 10 a.m. Alberta time and 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to pop the link in the Facebook. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'm popping the link in the Facebook chat. And if you're watching this as a recording on YouTube later, just type yes in the YouTube and I will put the link there. So thank you.
Oh my goodness, Katrin. Oh my goodness. You started with the myth of work-life balance, and then you've mentioned that we'll have to embrace and align all of our levels of consciousness. And also we'll have to dance our way through the barriers to live our best life. What a message. You know, our audience, I can see all the loves, all the hearts, all the likes and everything on our message, on our chat box. Our audience really has been really moved. I can see Mariah, she's saying yes, and Princess is saying that I love that, and Lindy, like she couldn't hold herself. She was like, you know what, I'm jumping back to the conversation. She was like, I love this, and she's back again. I know Lindy, she had a commitment, but then she's back because she's on fire with all these amazing messages. No one can ever rest with all these amazing, inspiring messages from all the amazing speakers. So thank you so much, Katrin, for sharing such a profound message. And I applaud you. I really applaud you of the wonderful work that you are doing for all the women out there. Truly, you are the real trailblazer that we need. So thank you, Katrin, for sharing such a profound message.
Thank you.
And now we are going to Germany. When we started, Anisha, she had a different time zone, and we are also in a different time zone. So she kind of missed the first part, but you know what? It's better to be late than never. And then she showed up. So Anisha Moella, she is the founder of Holistic Counseling, Anisha C. Moella. She is also a certified psychological holistic counselor, SIAF. She is a spiritual coach, relationship expert, and couples therapist, RLT. Everything she does has to do with transformation, be it her books, seminars, retreats, or individual sessions. Anisha has been practicing mindfulness and meditation since 1999 and is dedicated to her own healing and transformation through therapy, trauma healing, meditation, and self-exploration. With her diverse experience and training, she is able to integrate tools and skills into her sessions that bring together the best of everything she has learned. Out of her deep love for humanity, she has been working with people in various settings since 2004. It is her mission to work towards global transformation, creating awareness and contributing to an awakened civilization on this planet. She does not offer quick fixes, teach coping strategies, or treat symptoms. Instead, she is dedicated to promoting change and transformation by getting to the root of the problem. So she gives individual sessions in person and online, and leads retreats as well as seminars. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Anisha Muela.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful introduction. I think I'm going to bring something very different to this group and to the audience. Well, I wasn't there, and that was my mistake. I probably miscalculated the time difference, and I'm terribly sorry for it. I came in here and was like, what's going on? Well, okay, here I am now. So I'm going to talk about life-work balance, but in the context of what is holding you back of achieving that life-work balance, because that's really my story. I managed to have my balance completely out of whack. You know, there was times when I'd work for 3 years and then take 1 year off because I had to recover for the last 3 years that I worked. And this has actually continued until about 2013. I never really managed to bring a balance to my work life. In fact, I avoided work for 15 years. I inherited, so I didn't need to work. So I didn't work. Okay. So that's how bad it was for me, because I basically ended up in the wrong job because my father wanted me to go a certain direction. And because I was dependent on his love, because I didn't have a good connection to my mother, I said, okay, I'm going to do that because I needed to feel loved by my father. So I went on the wrong career. I did it for 13 years. And after 13 years, I basically was a wreck. I was a wreck on many levels, but health-wise, I really felt like if I go any further, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get really sick. So I left my career and I went traveling again. That was the second time I went traveling. And just the fact that I did that I went traveling for more than a year, shows how much I was out of whack. Yeah. So I couldn't find the balance in my work. I had to actually go away for so long to recover for the previous years. So what happened after that was that I went on a journey of inner inquiry and meditation, and I didn't know that I needed therapy. I had no clue, but life had me go a certain way, and I ended up in places where I did many therapy groups. I did pilgrimages. I did many things basically to move further inside of me and discover my own soul that was very, very different from the path that I had taken following my father's expectations. And I basically came to working with people by complete coincidence, I would say. I didn't have it on top of my head. I didn't have it in my vision even. I couldn't even feel the desire. It was life that brought me to it step by step. And every time I ended up working with people, I was like, oh, yeah, weird, but it worked. I could do it. I actually discovered a talent by pure chance. So what I want to talk about today is actually probably something that you guys didn't mention. I felt your energy, and what I'm going to say has a very different energy, and that has to do with being held back from actually going forward. I heard you, Con, and you were so full of energy that I thought, wow, this is amazing. I mean, you pushed through all obstacles incredible obstacles. Now I'm going to actually talk from the other side, which is people that may feel a little voice that wants to go a certain direction, but they just can't, or they may think, oh, that voice is not relevant, or they may feel the call of the soul, but they may not have the courage to go that way because they've been encouraged by the parents to go that way. Or people that feel it quite strongly, but they feel, no, they can't do that because of their family or because of their dad or mom or kids or whatever. So there are so many reasons why people don't go forward. But what I've discovered is that it's almost never those outer reasons. What I've discovered is basically three things. First of all, it's like an overarching concept. There is our conditioning. Our conditioning is very different from who we really are. But our conditioning was basically derived from what we had to do with our parents in order to survive. We had to feel loved. We had to avoid rejection. So we had to figure out how to navigate those waters with our parents. Now, that was an intelligent solution when we were young. But as an adult, I'm still acting as if I was young because I have this conditioning. So the first thing that needs to happen is I need to break my conditioning, because otherwise I'm just going to do what my conditioning says. Okay, so that's one thing. So I did that. Still, I found myself going around in circles. So why was I still going around in circles? I really thought I had broken enough of my conditioning that I felt closer to my truth, and I felt my inner guidance, and I really felt like I want to go that way, but I couldn't. So what I found out in 2013 was that there's two things that are very, very important if I want to really follow my truth, and I don't want to push through a barrier that feels like a lot of effort and that feels like I really have to squash my soul again. And that is trauma. And you might think trauma. I'll say some more about that. And that is something that Freud called superego. And both things can be unconscious. We might think of trauma as something big that happens, right? Like war or sexual assault or mugging or something big that we know that happened and we have a memory of it. But trauma can also be something very, very different that we don't even consider as trauma. And that is called childhood or developmental trauma. And that actually happens by repetition of mostly benign things that we don't even consider as bad, but because of the repetition and because it actually destroys or, can't find the right word, but it prevents us from feeling the connection with the parent. And if it happens often enough when we're young, and mostly, no, developmental trauma, not mostly, but it happens between ages when we're born and 3 years old. And no one can remember this time. And sometimes during birth or pre-birth. And that's a time that no one can remember. So we don't actually know what happened. And this was certainly the case for me. I had no clue. I had no clue that there was something wrong with me. I just felt that, this little nagging feeling in me that something wasn't right with my work and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I was successful, funny enough, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled. There was this nagging feeling of frustration in me, this nagging feeling of, I'm not quite where I'm supposed to be, but I couldn't even put my finger on it. It was so subtle. And yet it was enough to tell me, okay, I need to stop this work and travel. And maybe while I travel, I will meet someone that gives me a clue. And that's actually what happened. So the message that I want to bring here and the invitation that I want to extend is to think about these two things that are mostly unconscious, which is unconscious childhood trauma. And the other thing that I mentioned is called superego. That's a Freudian term. And what it means is the internalized voices of our parents that we received when we were children. And of course, we have to internalize them. And because we internalize them, they're mostly transparent to us at adult age. I don't know what's going on. We call this inner critic. I don't like the word inner critic too much because what I perceive in myself is actually not just critical. It is seductive, it is manipulative, it is all kinds of things, but not necessarily critical. It can be critical too, of course. Sometimes it doesn't even come in words. It comes in energy. It might be a funny look, you know, it might be a gesture, it might be this that we have internalized, and we observe this in another person, and it can be a trigger, and bang, we are back and being a child, acting like a child, and not doing the thing that we were going to do. Like, it's this procrastination that we can't make sense of. It's that holding back that we don't know why it's happening. It's that, you know, being distracted, going another way, even though we know this is my way, and we don't know why. And I've really discovered it's those two things. It's really those two things that affect me the most, because they're so transparent and unconscious. And my invitation today is to all of you and to the audience to actually think about that and consider that in your own journey. And it is a tricky one because we're not overly conscious of it. And trauma is a much misused word. I just want to put this into context here. To me, it is just a dysregulation in the nervous system, okay? And it is not necessarily, hold on. It is not necessarily, okay, all right, I'm running out of time. It is not necessarily the big thing that you think that it might be. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Unfortunately, there's many things that I didn't even mention. I just want to point you to one more thing, and that is the personality structures. There are certain personality structures that are more prone to not finding a balance, and that is based on the Enneagram. If you guys haven't heard of the Enneagram, it's a very, very valid tool that is ancient, more than 6,000 years old, that puts us into certain types as far as the conditioning is concerned. And it just makes it easier for us to see our conditioning, because that is transparent as well. So there's three things that are unconscious, basically. It's our conditioning, it's unconscious childhood trauma, and it's the superego. So I wasn't prepared that I put a link into Facebook. Maybe you can do that for me, Rial. And if you want to have my details, you can put a yes into the chat as well, or please Anisha or something like that. And I'm going to put my webpage into my name now. Let me do that. And so you can copy that. And what you find on that page is actually a free 60-minute session. And I'm even so generous to say, if it's 75 minutes, that's fine too, because what I really want is to help those people that I'm able to help, where it fits, where it matches, where there is a match. And I have a certain life experience, and all the work I do from my own life experience. And I want people to be able to feel me and to see whether I'm actually a fit for them. So I offer everyone a free 60-minute session, and if it's longer, that's fine. And the link that I put into my name is the link to that page where you can book appointments. Okay. So I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you for having had the time, and I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks everyone for listening and for your attention. Thank you.
Wow, Anisha, thank you so much. Like, I believe your time was short, but your message was very, very profound. You've mentioned that conditioning, it actually holds us back. Unconsciously, we still act like babies with just want our moms and dads' love and needing to avoid that approval, really. And you mentioned that in order for us to move from this mediocre life to greatness, we need to break our conditioning, and we'll have to come back to who we truly are. That was a profound message, Anisha. So
that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing such a needed message, and thank you for being with us today. So my goodness, our audience has really, really inspired. I know we are running above time, but you know what? The messages were worth listening, and I can see our audience online. Actually, Katrin is saying that this is interesting, Anisha, because in an In a D&I content, we sometimes call microaggressions as small and persistent episodes that make people feel undignified. Over time, it adds up to be significant. I think this can be true, or this can be true of micro traumas too. Wow, I can see our audience really, they are inspired, they are motivated. So our speakers, please feel free to put your links in that chat box right now as our audience is watching, because you know what, they will reach out to you. They will definitely reach out to you. If you can go on the Facebook, I've just checked everyone, go on the Facebook and leave all of your links in there. So to our audience online, please feel free. If you have any questions to any of our speakers today, please feel free to reach out, post your questions at the in the chat box, and then we're going to attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So I'm going to quickly jump in. I'm going to quickly share my message, because I believe all the world needs my message. But before I speak, I'm going to play my bio and then I'll come back and speak. So enjoy.
Non-Pumelelo Rial Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown international speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Rial is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Rial Kunene!
Thank you so much, our amazing speakers. Thank you to our audience. Really, all these amazing speakers have just set the bar high for me. So I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be able to fill in your shoes, but you know what? I'm gonna try and fill in your shoes. But before I get started, I always like to double check if I'm in the right platform here. How many of you with a raise of hand can say that, Rial, I have never, ever complained in life, never, ever complained in life? Seemingly I'm in the right platform, because you know, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, the movie was really disappointing, you name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting, and it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. One thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation. We tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solutions. It's always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who whine on a regular basis, they are apt to have a bad health. So next time we'll find you complaining that, why do pizzas come in square boxes, yet they're round? And funny enough, they are cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down, Secrets to improve achieve and maintain a work-life balance. Secrets to improve, achieve, and maintain a work-life balance. You know, often balancing work and family is an issue for almost every family, and maintaining a work-life balance is only easy when you are just a sole trader. There are some strategies, however, that if you need for achieving and maintaining a healthy work-life balance that can help all families cope. So I'm going to kind of share all these strategies that you can use in order for you to balance or maintain or achieve your work-life balance. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase, but you'll have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always said, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. You'll have to set goals and prioritize time. With so many demands on our time, you may have a to-do list with more than task on it. So you need to set achievable goals that you are passionate about. As I was going through Lindy's bio, she mentioned that her priority is to help clients set and achieve their business goals. There you go. You'll have to prioritize your health. You'll have to prioritize your health and maintain and manage your mind, because whether you are the CEO or just a go-getter at work, your overall physical, emotional, and mental health should be your main concern. It's easy to let things like exercise and diet go by the wayside. Once things get busy at work, really, you just forget about, oh, I'll have to hit the gym. I'll have to maintain a good diet. But that's the only body that is going to carry you throughout the whole journey. So you'll have to make sure that you prioritize your health and maintain your mind as an individual. Like Brendan said, that he has vowed to teach others how to regroup, refocus, and reinvest their greatness. So you'll have to prioritize your health first and foremost with whatsoever comes into your life. Prioritize your health and make yourself a better person each and every day of your life. And that's why it's so critical to continue to keep your body strong and healthy enough. So good people, it's a wake-up call. All these amazing speakers really have shared some nuggets on how to maintain and achieve your work-life balance. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I'll wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up and get going and take time for yourself and be selfish about your me time? Self-care is so imperative. It's something you should do no matter what's in your agenda. Just take care of yourself. Be selfish with your me time. When personal issues arise, don't give up on the time that you've dedicated for yourself. Drag yourself out of the door for your